You just, I think it was one of your favorite classes was the you guys had the incubator model.
Yeah. Hey, that's a caption.
It is a caption, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about what that looks like, incubator.
So Incubator, for those who don't know, it is a college class in a high school. And so it is all about entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah. And starting a business and what it looks like to start a business and doing all the processes. You end up, you look at COGS,
Mm-hmm.
cost of goods sold. Yeah, I know that. And all the other stuff. You look at looking into target markets, their needs, their desires, whether this product would benefit them. If it doesn't benefit them, how are you going to either change the product or change the target market? Um, it's all those really good actual life lessons
Okay.
and learning to work with people and reaching out to people. I did a lot of that during my incubator class. Um, Reached out to, we just went into our product was it's called the Chili Achilles. It's the best product by far. And it is a portable, collapsible foot and ankle icer for injuries that you get. Because typically, I'm an athlete, and I know, and I'm an injured athlete, so I really know that injuries in your feet and your ankle are the hardest to take care of because they're just so annoying because it's a stupid spot to ice. And so we wanted to fix that. And so one thing we did is we just went to the running depot. We're like, hey, can, can you look at our product? Is this something cool? Is this a good idea? Like, do you think that this has a place in the running store and or like in the market? And we're like, yeah, it's a good product. That's good. We could carry some of those here. Oh, perfect. And so working around, we did a whole bunch of surveys and interviews with athletes,
Mm-hmm.
and we had them test out the product um, and give us feedback on it. And like through that feedback, we would build the product better off of their feedback
Yeah.
and just making it into something that people want
Yep.
and actually working with a business model that will function.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that I'm assuming you like that class.
I did like that class. That
Yeah.
was a good class.
I mean, you got friends watching this. Part of them were on your team. Did you get frustrated with that class?
I did get frustrated. I got frustrated a lot. Mr. Peckhart, I don't know if he's watching this, but shout out to Mr. Peckhart. One thing he told me is he was like in the beginning of the class, he's like, you want things to be perfect.
Mm.
And if certain things don't meet your expectation,
Yep.
then you go off and you do them or you end up doing more. And he's like, you got to stop doing that. So you got to delegate better. And so for the second semester, I did delegate better. And it was really difficult to do that because it felt like towards the end, not all of my team was in it as much as I was. Um, and so it was difficult because I needed to delegate because I had track going on. That was 2 hours and youth group going on. That was another time. And yeah, it was difficult to balance and it was difficult to be okay with the quality of work that was shown.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I think that
Cuz like do you lower your do you lower your standards or do you bring everyone's else expectations up? And if you do that, how do you do that?
yeah.
You know?
I think part of it is getting everybody to believe in the product wholeheartedly,
Mhm.
where they want to see it succeed as much as you do. Right.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk talks about all the time. Somebody asked him, how do I get my employees to care about my business as much as I do?
Mhm.
And his answer was, give them part of the business.
Mhm. Yeah.
Otherwise, why would they?
Yeah.
You should care more than anybody else.
Yeah.
As the top dog, as the top rung. But with what you were doing, you were in a partnership with people, and so you were expecting them to jump in as much as you were,
Mhm.
which is also a difficult thing, especially when they don't, and then being
Yeah.
able to try and navigate what that looks like. We have a question for you.
All right.
What is easier? It says, what is easier?
That's working.
Crafting a compelling offer or getting a qualified lead? So crafting a compelling offer would be like, how do you create that offer to a potential customer? Like when you go to the running depot and you want to
Okay.
pitch them on carrying your product, you have to give that compelling offer, right? Or getting a qualified sales lead where you know that somebody is interested in purchasing.
Of what's easier to do?
Yeah,
Well, it's always easier if somebody's already interested,
true.
you know? Um, but I would say it's more fun to get people on board, and that's something I did a lot because a lot of people would go, "Well, okay, you have this bucket that's cool and all. Why don't you just use a 5-gallon bucket?"
Sure.
And I could be like, "Pah, this is why you don't use a 5-gallon bucket." And I was able to tell them and like why ours is better than theirs. I'm like, well, why don't you just use an ice pack? I'll tell you why you don't just use an ice pack. And like slowly through doing that, you would get people who'd be like, oh yeah, this is better.
Yeah,
Like this is something cool. It's like, you know what would make this better? If this had this, if the elevation had padding, if
sure.
and I would have people come up to me in the hallways who weren't totally invested, and then through, I guess, making them a compelling offer and showing them really everything that the product had to offer, they'd be like, "Whoa, how's it coming? Did you incorporate this yet?" And be like, "Yeah, we're working on it. We are going to do that. That is a part of our presentation. That is a part of our slideshow." And like it just got people more invested because they were a part of the process.
Yeah.
And I would say if you are invested in something and you believe in something, it's way easier to make a compelling offer and get somebody else on board. Um, so for me, it's easier to make people want it instead of finding the people who want it. Making a compelling offer, I think, is easier for me.
Yeah. And I think I would agree with you. I like the marketing side of things so much.
Mhm.
I love putting together the ideas, the blueprints, the concepts. How are we going to get people involved and interested in what we have going on? Like the fact that we're giving money to the Tim Tebow Foundation
Yep.
to try and end human trafficking, right? We believe very strongly as a company that making a difference matters. That's something that we want to do. It's having gratitude in all situations and the integrity to do the right thing no matter what, even if nobody's watching, and the
Mhm.
tenacity to fight through and do that.
Yep.
Now we put the offer out there. Whether or not anybody takes us up on it is a different story.
Yeah.
I think it's way easier to create a compelling offer. That qualified lead, um, you have to find the right person, right? The person has to believe what you're doing also,
Mhm.
which is the sales side of it. Not, and you could say manipulating them to believe what you want them to believe, but that's really not it either. It's just finding that spot of like, where do they care and what do they care about, and how can you help them get the thing that they care about?
Mhm.
Um, and that just, I mean, that takes a lot of time. That's just learning to listen to people and develop those processes. So, does that answer your question? I hope so.
I hope so too.
If
Yeah.
not, dig in a little bit more and just keep pushing us a little bit because I like that. It's fun. It's fun to be able to push through some of those things. Um, so Incubator taught you what it's like to be an entrepreneur, to come up with a product, um, and work within a team
The skills
base.
of owning and managing a business
Yeah,
and people.
yeah. So now that you've been I mean, you've been at Alliance for a little while. You've been
Yep.
in quite a bit of the meetings that that I have. And does it seem anything like what you were doing with Incubator?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like we had a whole bunch of um I guess you have more in-person stuff than we
Sure,
do because we're not an actual business. We're just high school students. And but like just going, "Hey, can you help us with this?"
sure.
Yeah, we can. That's perfect. And like we had our mentor was phenomenal.
Who is he?
He was oh man, it's been a while. Steve. I think it was Steve. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
You could be.
I gotta check.
He's gonna
Now I
check.
feel bad.
Well,
Hang
don't feel
on.
bad. You've been out of school for a little while. It's okay. I'm
Different
sure.
brain.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that they'll forgive you. But
Hopefully.
it's.
Hopefully.
I found that when I left college and I got a job, um, the stuff I learned in college was almost obsolete to the stuff that I was learning while I
Yeah.
was at work.
It's Steve. I was right.
Yeah,
I knew it.
good.
Yeah, and so like he hooked us up with his brother, Scott, who works at Lyondell Basel.
Mm,
And so what he did is he made us a like mold plan
okay.
so we could know how much everything would cost to
Yep.
actually create our stuff. And like it's just meeting people, having fun or like getting to know people. And a lot of it is having fun with people.
Yep.
And like being in meetings you have, it's like the exact same thing of just people trying to figure out how they can help each other out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would say I'm not walking into different meetings you have and going, "Whoa." Like I'm walking in there and I'm like, "Yeah, I've done this before.
Yeah.
This
You've
is
seen it.
not this is not new to me at all." And like it's cool watching them because I've led them and like
Yeah.
I've talked a lot during them. And so it's cool to see like different sides.
Yeah. Hey there. Thanks for watching the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. If you like what you saw, click here to watch the full interview. Or you can click our channel link here. But either way, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. That's it for now. Take care and God bless.